Hey everyone, and welcome back to my book channel, Kylie Kugel's Bookworks. So today what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be giving my series review of Trials of Apollo. So first off, I do not think that Trials of Apollo was Rick Riordan's strongest series that he wrote. I think, honestly, Magnus Chase or the Kane Chronicles gets that, but Trials of Apollo, I think, did really well as far as the main characters, which I'll be touching on the plot, the writing, and the characters. So first off, with the plot, I think that the plot could have been 3 books. I think there was a lot of drawing things out, and I don't think that there was a lot of definitive plot points, and a lot of it just could have been shortened. Overall, I think that having those Roman emperors come back was cool and it was a bit of a twist, but also I think that a lot of the Greek mythology stuff is sort of coming to an end. Don't get me wrong, I love Percy Jackson and I love reading those books, but I think that I don't know if there's much more for him to write about. So I think that Trials of Apollo was just sort of that last brick in the house. I do not remember what that analogy is, so we'll be moving on. As far as the writing, I do enjoy Rick's writing most of the time, but I think especially that he could have gotten some sensitivity readers, which basically, if you don't know what those are, is that if you are talking about a specific minority or group, that you have somebody from that minority or group come in and fact check and make sure that everything you are saying is correct and that you're not spreading misinformation. I think that he definitely could have used those, and especially in some of his previous books. And I think that would have made his writing a lot stronger. Another thing about his writing is some of the humor was a little forced, and I think that maybe this goes back to the plot where he didn't really have much more to write about, and so it didn't come out as his strongest work. So I think definitely that his writing could have been a lot better, but it just sort of happened. For me, the big thing was characters. I think that my favorite character is definitely Apollo, and I love seeing his character growth from the first book to the 5th book, and I think that that was really an important thing and a major thing, showing how people, when they're really trying, can change when they have the right people to guide them. And I think that was just a really important story to tell. Another thing is I really enjoyed Meg's character and sort of talking about her home abuse with her family, and I think that that was important to touch on, just about how that happens, and for her just not realizing that it was abuse and still loving her father, Nero, where it's really complicated in those instances where, this person has given me love and support, but they've also hurt me and I have mixed feelings about it. And I think that it was important that Riordan touched on that. As far as the other characters, once again, I think sensitivity readers would have been a huge help. I know that I've heard some people who are Mexican or Hispanic talk about Leo's characterization and how he, says things that to them just don't make sense, or why would he say that? And so that's just an instance that I can think of. Another thing is Leo and Calypso's relationship, I think, could have been a lot better if they were first friends and found their own healing. So I think that if their relationship had been developed better instead of just sort of shoving them together, that their relationship could have been a lot smoother and made a lot more sense. I did like at the end of the last book, Tower of Nero, that they were sort of taking their break, and Calypso went off to, learn more about her magic and such. I did really like the idea of Raina joining the Hunters. She's been through a lot, and I think that Hazel and Frank as Praetors together is the cutest thing. I think that they're going to do amazing things. So I'm really excited to see them, step up and have a bigger role as leaders. I don't think that they get enough recognition and love. They should. I think they're both really strong characters and should be recognized as such. Another thing is, oh goodness, I lost my train of thought. So yeah, overall the characters, there were some really strong character moments. There were some weak ones. Sensitivity readers would have helped a lot. Overall, the books themselves, I know that a lot of people read them for, Percy and the different cameos and such, which is understandable, but I also think because of that, some of the characters and the development was sort of glanced over, which I am in fact guilty of. I did start reading these books because, like, oh my gosh, more Percy content, but yeah. I'm also really excited to hear about Percy and Annabeth going off to New Rome together, and I think that that's really cute, and I think that that's a good ending place for them. Ending in the sense that, maybe Rick can just leave them alone and they can be happy, and also in the sense that, that leaves everything else open to the fans' imagination and what they think and what's going on with them. And then I think that, especially with Piper, there could have been a lot more solidity in her ending and understanding her character instead of at the end of Tower of Nero, how there was those like last couple chapters where Apollo's popping in on everyone, and we get 2 paragraphs with them and then he's gone. I personally have a problem with how he popped in on Piper, and it's like, oh yeah, Piper likes women, but then there's nothing else. I think that her character deserved a lot more, and she deserves a lot better instead of being glanced over, and I think that she honestly could deserve her own story, and I think that her character growth and understanding who she is, especially after Jason's death in the 3rd book, is very important, and I don't think it should be glanced over like that. So anyways, overall, Tower of Nero series, I thought that it was enjoyable. It was sort of reminiscent of like childhood, but it also could have been written a lot better, and it could have done a lot better, and it could have been written in 3 books instead of 5. So anyways, that's my opinion on it. If you want to talk about it, if you have any questions about my opinions, please leave them down in the comments below, but please just remember to be courteous and kind. As always, there are important links below for Stop Asian Hate, Black Lives Matter, and helping Indigenous peoples. And then there's also the book trigger warning link down below. So I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time.